The shelves are still full right now. You walk past them every single day without a second thought. Toilet paper, batteries, canned soup. Basic stuff. Boring stuff. But here's what most people don't realize until it's too late. When crisis hits, when the news breaks, when that first wave of panic ripples through your town, you have maybe 6 hours before these ordinary items become impossible to find. Not fancy survival gear, not expensive freeze-dried meals. We're talking about cheap, everyday products that cost less than your morning coffee. And the people who understand this pattern, the ones who've watched it happen during hurricanes, during lockdowns, during supply chain breakdowns, they know something you need to hear. There are 12 specific items that vanish so fast it's like they were never there. Stay with me until the end, because number 9 is something nobody talks about, and missing it could cost you in ways you haven't considered. Let's start with the obvious one that proved itself during the pandemic. Bleach. Not the fancy cleaning sprays with the designer scents. Plain, basic chlorine bleach. A gallon costs about $3 at any grocery store. Right now, you could buy 10 gallons and nobody would blink. But the moment people get scared about contamination, whether it's a disease outbreak or a water crisis, bleach becomes gold. Here's why it disappears first. One capful of bleach can disinfect an entire bathtub of water, making it safe to drink. It kills bacteria, viruses, and fungi on every surface in your home. You can sanitize food prep areas, sterilize medical equipment, even treat athlete's foot in a pinch. The shelf life is about 1 year if stored properly, which means buying it early actually makes sense. During Hurricane Katrina, people were trading canned food for bleach because contaminated water was everywhere. The stores ran out in hours, gas stations ran out, even the industrial supply warehouses were cleaned out within 2 days. And here's the kicker. You can't make bleach at home. You can't substitute it with vinegar or baking soda when you need real disinfection. When it's gone, it's gone. Which cheap staple from this list would you grab first if stores announced they're closing tomorrow? Write your answer in the comments. Moving to number 2, and this one catches people off guard every single time. Aluminum foil. You're thinking, really? Foil? Yes. A roll costs maybe $4. But in a crisis, aluminum foil becomes a multi-tool that solves problems you didn't know you had. You can use it to reflect heat from a fire, doubling the warmth in a small space. You can fashion it into a cooking vessel, a signal mirror, or line it inside your windows to keep heat in during winter or out during summer. It conducts and reflects. It's waterproof. You can wrap food to keep it fresh without refrigeration, create makeshift repairs on ductwork or pipes, even use it as a scrubbing pad when wadded up. During the Texas freeze in 2021, people were using foil to insulate their windows and prevent pipes from bursting. The stores sold out within the first day. Why? Because once people figured out the trick, everyone wanted it. You can't grow aluminum foil in your backyard, you can't download it. And the people who had 10 rolls were helping their neighbors, while the people who had none were stuffing towels in window cracks. Next up is something so simple it feels stupid to mention, but the data doesn't lie. Disposable lighters, not matches. Lighters. You can buy a 5-pack at the dollar store for exactly $1. That's 20 cents per lighter. Each one gives you thousands of sparks. Fire on demand, no skill required. When the power goes out, you need light. You need heat. You need to boil water or cook food. Candles won't light themselves. Camp stoves need ignition. A lighter is the gateway to every other survival function. But here's what happens during a run on supplies. People don't just buy 1 pack, they buy 20. Why? Because lighters are currency. In a blackout that lasts a week, a working lighter is worth whatever someone is willing to trade. During the California wildfires, when entire towns evacuated and then returned to no electricity, lighters were being sold person to person for $10 each. The gas stations were out, the convenience stores were stripped, and the people who thought ahead, who grabbed a handful of cheap lighters on a random Tuesday, were the ones helping others get their stoves running. Let's talk about number 4. Canned meat. Not the gourmet stuff. We're talking Vienna sausages, potted meat, canned chicken, Spam. The foods that people make fun of until they're hungry. A can costs between $1 and $3. It doesn't need refrigeration. It has protein, fat, and salt. It lasts for years on the shelf. When grocery stores start rationing or when supply trucks stop rolling, the fresh meat disappears first, then the frozen meat. Then people realize that the only protein left is sitting in the canned goods aisle. and it's not glamorous. But it's food. Here's the brutal truth. Your body doesn't care if the meat came from a fancy butcher or a tin can. It cares about amino acids and calories. During the early pandemic lockdowns, the canned meat aisle looked like a hurricane hit it. Shelves were bare except for the specialty items nobody wanted. And the people who stockpiled 50 cans of cheap potted meat for $30 were eating protein every day while others were fighting over the last package of ground beef. Number 5 is one that people forget until they're standing in a dark house. Batteries. Specifically AA and AAA. You can buy an 8-pack for about $6. Flashlights, radios, medical devices, remote controls, kids' toys to keep them calm during a crisis. Everything runs on batteries. But when the power grid goes down, batteries become the new electricity. You can't charge your phone if the outlets are dead, but you can power a radio to hear emergency broadcasts. You can run an LED headlamp for 70 hours on a single set of batteries, keeping your hands free to work. The problem is that batteries have a weird supply chain. They're made in specific factories, shipped in bulk, and stored in warehouses. When there's a sudden surge in demand, the pipeline doesn't magically speed up. Stores get one shipment, and that's it for weeks. During Hurricane Sandy, people were buying batteries at $50 per pack from scalpers because the stores had nothing. And the people who bought a bulk box of 100 batteries for $20 6 months earlier were laughing. Here's number 6, and it's going to sound odd until you think about it. Manual can openers. The cheap metal ones that cost $2. Not the fancy electric kind. Not the smooth-edge gourmet versions. The basic, old-school twist-handle can openers. You've stockpiled 50 cans of food. The power is out. Your electric can opener is useless. You try to open a can with a knife and you nearly lose a finger. Suddenly, that $2 tool is the only thing standing between you and starvation. This isn't hypothetical. After Hurricane Maria hit Puerto Rico, people were posting desperately on social media begging for manual can openers. They had food. They had water. They couldn't access it. The tool is so simple that nobody thinks about it until it's too late. And because it's cheap and small, people don't hoard them. They buy 1, maybe 2. But when you need to open 6 cans a day for a family of 4, that tool gets used hard. It bends, it breaks, and there's no backup. Number 7 is where things get interesting. Duct tape. A roll costs about $5. But duct tape is a repair shop in your pocket. You can patch a broken window, seal a leaking pipe, fix a torn tarp, repair shoes, create splints for injuries, bundle firewood, mark trails, even remove warts if you're desperate. It sticks to almost anything and holds under pressure. During disasters, infrastructure breaks. Things crack, leak, and tear. The people who can fix problems fast are the ones who survive comfortably. The people who can't are the ones standing in line waiting for help. In the aftermath of Hurricane Katrina, duct tape was being used to patch roofs, seal doors against water, and even create makeshift clothing repairs. The hardware stores sold out immediately. Why? Because one roll of duct tape can solve 50 problems, and people buying it weren't thinking about one use. They were thinking about the next 3 months. If you're finding this useful, hit that subscribe button and tap the like. It helps more people see this before they need it. Number 8 is medical, but it's not what you think. It's not bandages or antibiotics. It's petroleum jelly. A small tub costs about $3. It prevents chapped lips, treats minor burns, protects skin from frostbite, stops bleeding on small cuts by creating a barrier, prevents diaper rash, waterproofs matches, lubricates stuck zippers, and can even be used as a fire starter when mixed with cotton balls. It's chemically stable, it lasts forever, and it's so versatile that once people figure out all the uses, they buy it in bulk. During the Texas freeze, petroleum jelly was being used to protect exposed skin from windburn and to keep doors from freezing shut. The stores couldn't keep it in stock because it's one of those items that does 10 jobs with 0 skill required. Here's number 9, the one nobody discusses. Feminine hygiene products, tampons and pads. Even if you're a man, even if you live alone, a box costs about $7 and it's one of the most valuable barter items in a crisis. Women don't stop menstruating during emergencies. They need these products every single month, and there's no substitute that works as well. But beyond the obvious use, these products are incredible for survival. They're sterile, absorbent, and packaged individually. You can use them as wound dressings for deep cuts. You can use them as fire tinder because the cotton lights easily. You can use them to filter debris from water before boiling. During extended crises, these products become more valuable than food because food has substitutes. This doesn't, and the people who stockpile them, especially men who think ahead, find that they become the most requested item in any barter economy. Number 10 is practical and boring until you need it. Trash bags. Heavy-duty, large black trash bags. A box of 50 costs about $8. You're thinking they're for trash. Wrong. They're for everything. You can use them as rain ponchos by cutting head and armholes. You can line broken windows to block wind. You can create waterproof storage for important documents. You can collect and store water. You can use them as vapor barriers inside clothing to trap heat. You can fashion them into emergency shelters. You can even use them for sanitation if toilets stop working. During floods, people use trash bags to move belongings without getting them wet. During cold snaps, people layer them under clothing. And during any supply shortage, people realize that trash bags are one of those items you don't notice until you're out, and then you're in trouble. Number 11 is a survival staple that modern people forget. Salt. Not fancy sea salt or Himalayan pink salt. Plain iodized table salt. A container costs about $1. Salt preserves meat, prevents food spoilage, replenishes electrolytes when you're dehydrated, disinfects wounds, soothes sore throats when mixed with warm water, and is necessary for basic human survival. Your body cannot make salt. You must consume it. During historical crises, salt was literally currency. It was so valuable that soldiers were paid in it. That's where the word salary comes from. In modern disasters, salt disappears because it's essential and cheap. People buy 20 containers because they're thinking long-term. They're thinking about preserving the deer they hunted or the fish they caught. And once it's gone, there's no substitute. You can't make salt unless you live near the ocean and have the setup to evaporate seawater. Finally, number 12. This is the one that surprises people until they live through a blackout. Candles. Not the decorative kind, not the scented ones. Plain white emergency candles or tea lights. A pack of 100 tea lights costs about $6. Light is psychological. When the sun goes down and you're sitting in complete darkness, fear sets in. Children panic. Adults get disoriented. A single candle changes everything. It provides light, a small amount of heat, and a sense of normalcy. You can cook over candles if you're careful. You can melt snow. You can read, play cards, and maintain sanity. During the 2003 Northeast blackout, candles sold out within 2 hours. People were buying them from each other at 10 times the price. And the people who had bought bulk packs for cheap 6 months earlier were living comfortably while others were sitting in the dark using their phone flashlights, draining the battery they might need for emergencies. Here's the pattern you need to understand. It's not about the cost, it's about the function-to-weight ratio. These 12 items are cheap because they're mass-produced and abundant right now. But they're valuable because they solve critical problems that emerge the moment systems fail. Bleach, foil, lighters, canned meat, batteries, can openers, duct tape, petroleum jelly, feminine products, trash bags, salt, and candles. Together, you could buy all of this for under $100 today. But 2 days into a crisis, you couldn't buy them for $1,000. The people who survive comfortably aren't the ones with the most money. They're the ones who understand timing. They're the ones who walked through the store on a boring Wednesday and filled a cart with cheap basics while everyone else was buying snacks and soda. They're the ones who looked at the news, saw the pattern, and acted before panic set in. By the time the news tells you to prepare, it's already too late. The shelves are stripped, the limits are in place, and you're left with whatever scraps remain. So, which item would you grab first? Write your answer in the comments. And if this video made you think differently about what's sitting on store shelves right now, hit that subscribe button, because the next crisis won't wait for you to be ready. Thanks for watching.